Hello and welcome to VegasInsider.com. I'm Toby Maxtone-Smith. We're going to be looking at 4 games from the weekend's round of English Premier League matches. Let's start with Watford against Newcastle, which is on Saturday, early kickoff on Saturday. Watford are 3-4 here, they're odds on, and I think that's way too short, and I'm going to be backing Newcastle to get a result. Newcastle or draw double chance at even money, 1-1. The reason is that Newcastle have been very, very good since the restart. They scored 10 goals in 5 games, having previously been a very defensive-minded team. But since they got safety, they've played with real freedom. Watford, on the other hand, edged through against Norwich last time out, but were never convincing. Beaten soundly 3-0 by Chelsea before that, beaten 3-1 at home by Southampton. Haven't kicked on since beating Liverpool just before the lockdown. And I just think they're way too short here, even though this is a much bigger game for the home team. So I'll be going with Newcastle or draw double chance. Moving on to Sunday, Wolves against Everton at 12 o'clock English time, 7 a.m. East Coast time. I think this could be a very low scoring game, which is why I'm going for under 1.5 goals, so 1-0 either side or 0-0 at odds of 7-4. Wolves' last 6 games have only seen seven goals. They're also very bad in the first half. A lot of their games are 0-0 at half time. The fact also that this is an early kickoff often means a lower scorer. They were very blunt in a 1-0 loss against Sheffield United last time out. Only beat Villa 1-0, just generally actually not a very good team to watch a lot of the time. Perhaps their charge for the Champions League is running out of steam. And I would go for a low scorer. Maybe, it's have a bet before you go to bed the night before and don't bother waking up for this one, because I think this could be a pretty dull, low-scoring match. So under 1.5 goals at Wolves against Everton. Thirdly, let's have a look at Aston Villa against Crystal Palace. Huge game for Aston Villa this. Really up against it if they want to survive, having come up from the Championship last year. But I think, again, this might be another loss. Crystal Palace are 12-5 to win this game. They were pretty unlucky to lose 3-2 to Chelsea last time out. Had 2 huge chances in injury time to get an equaliser. Villa haven't been playing badly since the restart. They were quite unlucky to lose 2-0 at Liverpool, but their problem is scoring goals. Their big signing, Wesley, the striker, has been injured since January, and the deputy, Keenan Davis, hasn't scored all season. They don't play badly, but it's just that final ball, the final finish that they really struggle on. You might find that Villa have the better of the game, but I know who I'd be backing out of Villa and Crystal Palace if it's a competition of who scores the most goals. Palace, Wilfried Zaha, Christian Benteke on the score sheet against Chelsea too. And I think they just got the Premier League experience to get through this game. And I think at 12-5, again, look a pretty good outsider shot. Lastly, a big game. It's the North London derby, Tottenham against Arsenal. Very interesting game this, because neither team has had a good season at all. Both might not even qualify for the Europa League. Bookies are finding them very hard to split. Tottenham narrow favourites with the home advantage. Tottenham will probably play quite defensively, just as they did against Manchester United in a 1-1 draw. That very nearly came off, but then Manchester United scored a late equaliser. Arsenal have been in very good form of late, 4 wins in a row before their draw with Leicester, a game that they should have won had it not been for a red card late on. But this is a game where the home team rarely loses. So all in all, I'm going to go for a draw here. Arsenal have drawn 14 Premier League games this season, more than anyone in the league. 6 of the last 11 league meetings between Arsenal and Tottenham have ended level. And I think both teams probably be reasonably happy with a draw in a fixture that neither team will want to lose. So Arsenal and Tottenham to draw at 5-2. Thanks very much. We'll be back next week with some more Premier League action.